Ron Goodall, FightHype.com. I'm here with one of the top contenders of the sport, Abduallah Mason, who makes his ring return June 7th in Norfolk Arena. Norfolk at the Scope Arena against Nakatia. First and foremost, how excited are you to be back in one of those type of stacked arenas where everyone was so excited the first time that I'm sure they're all coming back to see you. You know, it was almost like you're from Norfolk.
Yeah, man. I mean that's what I look forward to doing every time I'm out. Any arena I fight in, I want, I love that support. That the fans being excited, for me to fight, just like I'm from there. So I appreciate that love coming from Norfolk, and I can't wait to be back in there. They was excited, but I'm just excited as they are.
Absolutely. You know, and your opponent is a guy who takes on tough tasks, you know, and comes a little short. You know, he's faced Shakur, he's faced, Raymond Muay Thai, which obviously you see where they're at in their career. So this is not an easy guy, but this is a guy that if you get past, not only the fact that, you know inside that in your professional career that you're capable of doing things, but the fans also know what you've been working hard throughout the years and what you're capable of. So what do you think about your opponent going into this match?
Uh, I feel like he's a great opponent. He let his hands go. He a hard hitter. He put his all into every punch. And you said it though. He's came up a little short. But I feel like he got to be prepared to come up short one more time. Because I'm prepared to let my hands go as well and do my job on him.
The activity like is almost like a throwback fighter, right? Like, I think James Toney at a point was just constantly fighting like you're seeming like you're coming from that type of Midwest cloth where you're a guy who likes to bang, you can make it a little bit easier, you can make it a little bit harder, but whatever the case is, you like to entertain and you like to get back. So, I mean, I just want to ask you a little bit about some of the people you watch, growing up. Was there some James Toney in there, I guess the first thing is?
I haven't watched James Toney. I've always heard about him growing up in the amateurs, but at that time, I really didn't watch any boxing. The only people we watched was like Sugar Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, just the greats in the sport. But Sugar Ray Robinson, he was that guy. He was the kind of the one I watched before I actually, kind of started watching boxing. But even now, I would say one thing that me and the team, we do a lot of, just we progress in the sport based off what we grow through and what we see, in the careers of, the fighters that are active in the sport right now. So we haven't we haven't really done too much, history. We got to go back right now. We got to go back, and do our history on the sport. We've been saying that for a while, but every time we get out of a fight, I got another fight coming up. We just hop right back in training camp in the next week or so. So we got to chill and relax for a little bit and watch our history.
Yeah, no, and for someone as active as you, I get it, because your downtime is constantly doing interviews, getting in camp, traveling, getting sparring, back in the ring, fight week. So, but when you go down that rabbit hole, those guys are connected. James Toney to Ezra Charles, that lineage out in the Midwest, right? A lot of people say Ohio has, if not, the Midwest has the best, of boxing, right? From Roger Mayweather. So, um, because of that, I also wanted to highlight your resume is starting to get better because, Rolly Romero recently just beat Ryan Garcia. He wasn't able to take out Manuel Jaimes, but you were able to destroy him out in New York. So I guess I wanted to get your thoughts on that whole entire experience because you were at the Times Square event, right?
Yeah, I was there. I was there. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. It was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that seem like an environment that would have affected you, I guess, just because it is different.
I mean, when you get in the ring, you got to be prepared to do your best job in any environment. So, no, it wouldn't have affected me. It
Hmm.
wouldn't have affected me.
Would you,
But
I guess, excelled, I guess.
I'm sitting there and I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, come on, like, what y'all doing? Every fight that came up, I had the same feeling. So, So I don't know. It was all right.
Would that been an environment that you would have excelled at? Like kind of looking at like, man, this is a crazy opportunity, or it just didn't want to matter. You could have been fighting on the moon with, you know, gravity boots and still would have been
But
fine.
I mean, it's always an opportunity, you know. And
Mhm.
every opportunity, every time I'm out, I like to show out.
Yeah.
So it'd been the same in the same way there. I would have I would have showed out.
Now, there was a fight, there was an opportunity, I guess, where I'm transitioning to is that, Floyd Schofield Sr. went out. It's been publicized that there was an attempt, he threw out essentially, about 1 million or more to make the fight happen. You guys seem more than, consistent on the idea of wanting to face him, and they decided to go, a 5 year extended contract for he claims 5 million, and he's facing Tevin Farmer. So, um, you know, solid opponent, but I guess in this case, like, what weighs more? I guess in your eyes, I know
Is,
that you. Go
is
ahead.
that real? Is that real? Extended contract?
I mean, if I didn't see the paper. You know what I mean? That's I guess what he's saying is they resigned uh, for a 5 year. So I can't validate.
Uh,
Oh,
I mean,
oh,
we offered him a amazing. We gave him.
I think I'm losing you a little bit. Hold on.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you
You
now.
still- I'm there. Okay, yeah. Um, but I said they say a lot of stuff, but what I can say is, we gave him an amazing offer. What a great opportunity. What just an amazing fight that turned down. I feel like he turned it down for a reason that wasn't, you know, a valid reason, but you know, that's his route. He didn't want to fight me though. You can say that for sure.
I guess in this case, a lot of fans have voiced their opinion. Some people claim, it makes sense, and some people view it as a duck. Do those words come out your mouth, or is it just boxing business?
I mean, if you don't want to fight, you don't want to fight. And it's clear that he didn't want to fight. So we moving on. We not stuck that because Floyd Schofield, they're not going to determine where I go in my career. So that was just another stepping stone that we wanted to show our skills off with. We wanted to step in there with him and do our job. But if they're not gonna find me, they're not gonna find me, and I'm gonna move on to the next fighter, and I'm gonna do my thing on the next one.
Uh, do you like that fight? I know you wanted to face Austin, but is that a fight just as a fan, if you remove yourself from the predicament of the fight opportunity and watching it, like, do you like Kid
Oh
Austin,
man,
Tevin
look,
Farmer?
yeah, I mean, look, that's one of those fights. Everybody was excited to see that one. I feel like everybody also knew the outcome, what that would have been though, but they knew that it would have been a great fight for boxing and for the fans. So that's one that I was hoping that would happen just off of that alone. Just off of that alone, knowing that it's an exciting fight that everybody would tune into, you know, um, it would have been the biggest, I would say, as far as up and coming prospects, but they didn't want to fight me, so we moving on to the next one.
Do you ever think at a point you guys will face each other? Because I know that you moved up, I think four slots in the WBO. All right, I think you're number two now. You're highly ranked, and I think in another sanctioning body. But it almost seems like you're going to get a championship fight coming really, really soon. And they continue to push the WBA high rankings at some point. So uh, it's a matter of time that both you guys get a championship. You guys are on borrowed time, and if you guys do make it, unification, all right, for more money.
And I mean, I would hope so, but if they didn't fight me now, then why would they fight me later?
Hmm.
It's gonna be even more risky, for them. With me being me progressing and me being a better fighter, as I'm progressing. But you know, they they asking for something that they know they're not gonna get, and I feel like that's an easy, that's an easy way out.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, one day, I know you guys have sparring history, seen it, and hopefully we can get it one day, right? Is what
Yeah, and that'd be fun.
I also wanted before I finished chatting with you, I did want to talk to you about your last fight, I think social media is just a thing out there where they kind of give their honest opinions. Sometimes it's truthful, sometimes they don't know what they're talking about, but it's out there, right? In the case of just getting it from you, I feel like even though you got the stoppage, fans are super critical at you at this point, right? You're at that stage now where no matter what you do, it's almost like you're a world champion, right? They nitpick to a certain point. So, do you feel like your last fight, even though you got the stoppage, was nitpick worthy? And if so, why?
Um, I would say the fight it was a little different
Hmm.
in aspects of him being a little awkward fighter, a little shorter fighter. So I couldn't really get certain things off the same in the beginning. So I definitely had to get a little used to him in the ring, and
Hmm.
it wasn't as entertaining per se, but it was a great fight, and I got the job done. And it was a great experience.
Hmm.
Experience meaning he was a different fighter than the rest that I faced. He was like a little rabbit in there, moving around, jumping around, getting real low, and I had to just get used to it a little bit, get used to his timing, and find out those certain shots to catch him with, because not every fight is easy, but you got to make it that way. I feel like I turned that fight into a fight that was easier than I made it easy, and it wasn't an easy fight.
Hmm. Yeah, because I think I can remember it was before that fight or around that fight, but it makes sense that you and Emiliano at some point are gonna like a Oscar De La Hoya, Sugar Shane Mosley kind of thing, right? You guys are build up on the same platform, a lot of attention, both very entertaining, probably both soon to be a champion, make a lot of money. But your thoughts on just Emiliano kind of, I guess, now poking, and I'm sure that you will love that fight as well.
I mean, I say why not, but he's at 140, I'm at 135.
Hmm.
He got to keep doing his thing, and I'm gonna for sure keep doing my thing. And you know, if I move up to 140 anytime soon, most definitely.
Awesome. And before I let you go, I know you're fighting on Keyshawn Davis's undercard, and I know that there isn't really like animosity, but just competitive. I want to just fight for an opportunity and fight for a title. Do you see yourself on a path of fighting Keyshawn Davis? I know he's right on the line of maybe moving up 140, but is that a fight that you think that will happen at 135? Or and is that a fight that you want?
Yeah, I mean, why not as well? I definitely want to fight with him and as well as other fighters. In my division. We got other champions, Shakur Stevenson. You got Tank Davis. You got Raymond Murtaza is now a world champion. So it's definitely great opportunities. But you know, for me being in my position, I don't know when I'll be able to face them, but it's looking like it's gonna be real soon. So hopefully, when I keep stepping up, as I'm doing, I'm the co-main event right now, and I'm ranked number 4 in WBC, and I just can't wait to step in there with whoever give me the opportunity. So whenever that comes my way, I'll be prepared for it.
Awesome. Well, look, Abdullah, always answer questions like a professional, and obviously everyone's going to be tuning in on June 7th with a stat card. And I know your brother's been winning in between your last fight, so
Yeah,
I know it's back. Setting the trend at the Scope Arena on June 7th on ESPN. It's the co-main against
yeah.
Jeremiah Nakatia, tough power puncher. So, what do you want to tell the fans out there before I let you go?
Uh, I want the fans to tune in and to another performance, and I also want the fans to let me know who they want me to fight. So anybody watching this or anybody tune into this, I want y'all to I want y'all to put it out there. I want y'all to let everybody know, and let us know who y'all want to see me fight.